Welcome back to another episode of TikTok Famous Podcast. Today I have on the show Greg Cada. I'm so excited I just pronounced it correctly. And he has over 4 million followers and is absolutely hysterical. And I can't wait for you guys to get to know him if you don't already follow us. So stay with us.
You're listening to the TikTok Famous Podcast, where viral fame meets raw reality. Join your host, Meredith Willits, as she dives deep with your favorite creators to uncover the real stories behind the scroll, the highs, the lows, the algorithm chaos, and everything in between. This is not your average interview. This is the TikTok Famous Podcast.
Thank you so much for being here today. I am a huge fan. And I have a bunch of people that I can see they follow you. So I know that, my friends are fans of yours. So thanks so much for being here today with us.
Thanks for having me on this lovely Wednesday morning.
I know, right? It's like tsunamis. I mean, let's pack a little bit more into 1 week. Everyone's going back to school, et cetera, et cetera. So you have over 4 million followers. And when I watch your videos, I'm so impressed. Do you write them? Are you reading a teleprompter? Where the hell does this come from? Because I have written down just a few of the things which we'll talk about. How, just give me everything.
Sometimes I usually will write an outline of it. Really what happens is I'll be out with friends or I'll be out somewhere. An idea will come in a conversation where we're just talking and then suddenly I'm thinking about who names the lists of the hurricanes? I need to make something in my that. So then I'll put a note in my phone, like hurricane name list, or, someone will be talking to me about a really sad book that they read. And I was like, your kids are reading nothing compared to what we had. So then I'm like, there's something about 80s traumatic childhood literature. And so then usually I just start recording and I have once I flush out the idea very quickly, I'll just write down key points of to hit. And that's why I do a lot of the stop and start and changing of location and whatever, is because I'll go back to the notes and be like, oh, right, I have to make that weird point. But
which is funny because that's how I do mine too. I do the start and stop, but it's usually to get my brain. Okay, and that's the next idea, and that's the next idea. And then, of course, then they tell us on TikTok, change your location, start and stop for interest. It's like, oh, Greg and I have been doing it right the whole time. We're just keeping our brains going. So when I'm listening to you and I'm watching video after video after video, to kind of really get a good meat and potatoes of your content, it's giving Black woman meets Seinfeld. You know what I mean? These great reads about shit that is just normal in nature. And that is, I mean, this is one video. Ready? Namaste out my business. Microwaved raccoons on meth. A human middle finger. A human fork in a garbage disposal. The visual and yeah. A solar powered bitches Maximus and acting like possessed Roombas. That's one video.
That one I think I had coffee and was just really I was really annoyed at a good friend of mine who is just constantly makes you feel bad, makes you feel like you're not that good of a person, because literally Jeffrey Dahmer could have just come on the news and they'd be like, you just don't know, what kind of day they had.
Something is happening. Where is, I'm getting some sort of
a live feed. I love it.
I know, I'm not sure where this is coming from, but Just, okay, I found it. Sorry about that. All of a sudden, my computer started
Good.
playing an old podcast. Um,
She just really likes her own voice, and she was bored of mine. So
I know Sammy Lou's like, okay, my turn. I was on yesterday. I'm going to be on again today. Sorry, Greg. Y- But I mean, that's a great question. So you're not afraid of talking about friends and family and people that know you.
well, no. I mean, I don't usually use names unless it's a story that is like mutually funny. Like my best friend in New York, I was just there last week. She confused, we were talking about movies, and I was talking about the movie Amadeus, and she thought in her mind I was talking about Amistad. And so, like, could not be completely different tone, and so it was the most hilarious misunderstanding, because she's like, slavery, and I'm like, what? Like maybe he was a slave to his music, I don't know, like trying to get on that same, and it was just the funniest thing, so like I'm going to tell that story, and I
Right.
will use her name because I think but like in terms of if it's something negative, like I didn't use this person's name regarding the other video about like feeling bad for someone, always having empathy, like maybe you don't know what they're going through, and I'm like, you know what, maybe they are just a piece of shit. Like
Right.
if that side exists, we have to admit the other side exists as well, right?
They're just
And
jerks.
that's all I try
Yeah.
to point out. I think just logic. I'm a lot very, even though I'm a very artistic person, and math and whatever science were not my jam. I was good at them because I think I got my dad's brain. P.S. Calling me a black woman mixed with Seinfeld might be the best compliment I've ever received in my entire life. Like I think I can just stop and like two groups of people, like black females and Jewish comedians that like I respect so much that I'm good.
You're
I don't
you
need.
you've arrived. Well, I mean, but I don't know how else to describe you because you take like when you were doing, so he's got this video. Greg's got this video. So you and I both like to cruise. You are an unapologetic cruiser, as I have made in my notes here. You don't care. Judge me all you want. I am going for 7 days. I am checking out. I'm enjoying myself. Half of it's probably going to be people watching because the Seinfeld piece of you exists. However, you can also jam with the the black woman reading everybody because clearly that runs through your veins as well. When you talk about a black woman getting on a cruise ship, I am like she has arrived. She is there to do all the things. Like you have this way of describing things that is so raw and so real, and so many people may have thought the things that you're talking about, but you literally give it a heartbeat and a vernacular. You give it a language, and that's what I just love about it so much because I'm just like, that's so good. How did he get in my brain? How does he know what we're all thinking? And you say it, but my friends always tell me, Meredith, you could literally say anything to anyone, and for some reason, people aren't offended. And I think that you might have that quality too, Greg. I don't know. I think you have it.
Well, thank you. I mean, I will say this. I do think in today's world, there someone is always offended. So, I mean, even with that cruise ship video, I was so nervous about putting it out because I was like, okay, this is such a I don't, this could go
Yeah.
many ways, especially people that don't know me. They could be like, we don't need you to whatever. And I'm like, and then I just realized I was like, you know what? My whole vibe, my whole brand has been just me talking about what I see. And it's been
Yeah.
observation, humor. And this is something that I observed. And it was, originally it was going to be like, I really was, besides all of the other stuff that I saw, it was more like going on the pool deck and watching these women wear these outfits, and not just wear these outfits, but like the
Own.
con it was such jealousy of like where do they get this, they they don't think they look good, they know they look good. They don't hope you to get noticed, they demand to be respected. Like there's so much energy that goes involved, and then there look, there were several drafts of that, because I can read some, I can see someone while also reading them, and there were a couple things in there that I'm like, oh, I gotta take that out because someone's gonna get offended.
I went too far. I went too far.
Well, no, even though it's true, it's like, I'm an optics guy. So like I made some comment about like, you know, you better shine with your sheen, or like you better, you took me out with your Timu, cuz but I know for a fact, cuz I've heard them talking, that they got all, they half of these things they got, but I didn't want anyone to look at that as like, white guy disparaging people who
Yeah.
shop at, trust me, I try to spin things in my mind. I try to see every possible gripe. And even then, you still have blind spots, and someone's going to come and say. So I don't know if, I mean, I think the real question is, and this is a deeper thing, is when it comes to being offended, is that we have gone the complete opposite of, used to be intention over impact. Like, well, I didn't mean to offend you, so therefore you can't fault me. Well, then,
Yeah.
of course, people were like, right, but my feelings are still valid. And of course, because we don't have any nuance as human beings, we have to swing the complete other direction. So now it doesn't matter what your intention was at all. It's how you impact people. And I think valuing one over the other is the death of discourse. The two have to meet in the middle. This is what I meant. This is how it was received. Let's talk about that so that we can both grow, not just, oh, that word triggers me. The word trigger triggers me. I can't with. So,
Everything's a trigger.
it is, and I am, and my one good friend early on the thing. Sorry, I am swirling out. The coffee is hitting. I apologize.
No worries. I'm here for all of it.
Any given moment, but he made a post that was like, I am not responsible for your trigger. If I don't know you personally and I don't know what your trigger is, I am not responsible for your trigger. So, and I was like, thank God, because I'm like, I'm not, and that's what I eventually, in terms of not offending anybody, it's like, I try to see the optics of everything before I post, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I have to stay true to myself. And if at the end of the day that offends someone, so be it. And you just move on. If it's something that I can change, I will. If it's something that's like clearly you're never going to see eye to eye, it's like, let's just get off each other's pages then. Bye.
Well, I think, what you're hitting on right now is true comedy. I mean, that's the line of true comedy. First of all, you have to mark yourself as a comedian by way of what you put out, right? You can't just say yada yada. Oh, by the way, I'm a comedian. It's like, none of your comment. You're great. Like you've never been a comedian before today. So there's that. But you have branded yourself millions of followers on being a comedian. So when you put something out there, it is within the breadth of comedy. And I think you do a really great job of calling out shitty behavior and calling in or pointing out like the women on a cruise ship. So it's not like, oh, you're over the top, point finger negativity. It's more of a building up, and I see you. Hey, queen, I see you. You've been noticed. We're watching. We're envious. It's a moment. You're a moment. And it is up to the listener to decide at that point if somehow that's offensive. And are you am I taking that because I'm insecure? Am I taking that because I'm being objectified? I don't know. But I think that when I listen to everything you're saying, it does tend to be in the breath of calling out shit behavior. And I have to, it's more of a just a, hey, I notice you. Like, I see you. Like, this is cool. Like, I see you at cruisers. I see you, people at the grocery store or whatever. Cause that to me tends to be the crux of your everything is you're literally out in the world with these really open eyes seeing and taking note of and talking about the things that most of us just pass by and maybe clock for a second. You clock in. We clock, you clock in, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that all is, I mean, I hate to get gross about it. That's all acting training. A
Mm.
good, and so, I mean, I'm a trained classical actor, and so much of our training was honestly human observation. It was observational behavior, and especially toward the latter half of my training, because that was where I really kind of clicked with the technique that I like to use. And so I'm an outside in kind of actor, meaning I like to find the physicality of the person and find their physical life before I look inward. So I was constantly watching people to create characters based off, especially like in the open. And so I feel like I've just been a very observational person, like I've been a dance captain, I've been a choreographer and a director, and people always like, you have a good eye, you have a good eye. And I don't know if I have a good eye as much as I have an open eye. I
Yeah, because it
see.
says in your bio here, you're a graduate of NYU's Tisch School of the Arts. You have been on national tours, television roles, directing work at prestigious venues such as City Music Hall, holy shit, and the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, you have to tell me. Um, so I mean, you've been on General Hospital. I mean, you've done shit. Like I mean, you're not just putting out some videos on TikTok. Like that's just like this is who you are.
I mean, this is a new phase of, I would say, my performing career. I mean, I would be lying if I was like, oh my God, it's totally me. I mean, it is me, but there is a heightened level to it, when I make a
Yeah.
video. It's like, I'm not that energized. I mean, because I'm very blessed. I do not have that many haters, at least ones that are vocal about it. So I get very, very little negativity. But if I do, it's someone usually that is homophobic, so they're making a gay joke, or it's somebody that's like, I mean, I'll have some Midwestern white lady be like, "You are too much," and I'm like, "Baby, don't. I'm just because you're too
Go,
little
go find
does not."
less.
Yeah, I that there are you can keep. I'm like, you really, God. I was like, what a boring life if you are taking that much time out of your day to tell someone you've never met who could give two shits what Carol from, Kentucky thinks. Okay, you move on. But like, yeah. I
And
forgot what I
speaking of
was.
Midwest, I'm from Avon Lake.
I was about to ask where you were from because I can hear the Cleveland accent
Yeah,
100%.
I graduated from Avon Lake and lived there up to God age 34. And actually one of my friend's sons is going to Ignatius in the fall. So
Wow.
that's crazy. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Menor.
That's so
Was born
crazy.
like the complete opposite side. Same, pretty much the same. Like those are like the bookends of Cleveland,
Yep.
just completely. Avon Lake's on the west side, Menor's on the east side.
Yep.
I spent 14 years there, and then we moved to Willoughby Hills, so just one
Hmm.
exit west, and then that's where we finished out our Ohio story.
How old
So
are
I
you, if you don't mind me asking roughly? Because my cousins
oh
all went to Willoughby Hills. They're my uncle's Pat O'Brien of the car dealership, and so all of his O'Brien kids went to. I think they all went to Willoughby Hills, and they're all younger than me.
I am 45.
Oh yeah, so you would have been around their age. My cousin Patrick. I think he went to Willoughby Hills High School. Well, you went to a different high school, so you would have not seen each other. So that makes more sense. Yeah.
And Willoughby
That
Hills is the tiniest little community. Um, it doesn't go very far because in either
yeah.
direction you're Chardon first or you hit Mayfield first. So you're like, why even have Willoughby Hills? But it
But
sounds so.
Ohio and Cedar Point are some of the greatest breeding grounds for noticing people. I mean, I remember being in high school and we'd go to Cedar Point and my girlfriend and I, we could just sit there eating a cookie in that the Western Village area thingy of Cedar Point, and just watching people all day long getting off of the water rides in their all family matching outfits, and we would just like sit there and eat a cookie like we were at the movie theater. I mean, it's great people watching in Ohio, and it's a great, in my opinion, it was a great place to grow up.
Oh, I tell that to people all the time. Everyone knows somebody from Ohio, and they usually have a very fond opinion of that person. Ohio breeds some of, if not the best people. I will die on that hill. Because we get everything. We get all four seasons. We get the most random accents. Literally, you go south of Columbus, you have people being like, "Oh, hey y'all," and I'm like, "Where are you from?" They're like, "Oh, Southern Ohio," and you have no business having that accent, Genevieve. Like, what the hell? Like, we get access to so much. We have lakes, we have a Great Lake, in fact. I mean, it's disgusting, but we have all these things that, and well, it used to be a lot more purple, politically. I think it's definitely going to the red conservative side. But again, you had lots of Eastern European immigrants, so you had tons of like first generation, second generation, great food. Yeah, it's just horrible weather.
Yeah, horrible weather, but yeah, Polish
In Cleveland,
pierogies, the Irish 4-hour, St. Patrick's Day parade. And also, I believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, of having such horrible sports teams, especially the Cleveland Browns, it breeds a certain kind of human that is always building, where we are capable of having the most positive view on life ever because of the Cleveland Browns.
totally. And losing the World Series when I was in high school, we lost it 2 years in Game 7. I mean, that was, P.S. Major credit that this big flaming homosexual remembers, and I can even tell you the years that those. My brother played professional baseball, so I was unfortunately a baseball fan by default. But no, I think having all of that energy, it made you optimistic, it made you hopeful, which some people say is the worst thing in the entire world. But yeah, no, I think I tell people all the time it was a great place to grow up. I never need to go back. I went back. I've been back. As most recent was last summer. I went to visit because my dad's side of the family is still all there, and it was weird. My sister and I were both like, because it was the middle of the summer, so it's beautiful, like the one of 4 months where it's actually nice to be there. And I was like, I don't know, I could live here again. And then it was like, oh wait, nope, hold up, October through April, right? Gray,
Gray. Gray.
slushy, snowy,
Yep.
gray, lake effect snow. Great, that's all I needed to remember.
So now let me ask you this. So now you're in Louisiana by
Yeah,
by way of
now
Cleveland, the most
totally.
logical,
Yeah.
the most logical, and you're teaching. What do you teach? Who do you teach? And what the heck do they think of Mr. Greg being TikTok famous?
I teach K-7, and I am the leader of the theater department there. So I teach theater, and I teach a lot of middle school electives that are performance related, or I teach public speaking. And what do I think? What do they think of Mr. Greg? I think when I first got there, this is my sixth year with this school. I think when I first got there, it was more of a big deal. I think now the younger kids are finding out. So like K-2 will make like, silly comments. But I mean, the thing is that I think for some of them, they're probably like, it's cringe for them. But for me, I don't care because I love it, because I'm like, I'm beating you at your own game, and I'm not even trying. You are so working so hard, and I'm rolling out of bed making these videos, and I'm killing it, and you are. It's the one thing that I can hold over their head where I'm like, Oh, really? Oh, really? You're going to try to insult me? Like, let's look at your Instagram.
Well, it's funny because my kids think it, my own children think it's cringe, but then their friends think that it's like Mrs. Willits, like, how many followers do you have now or whatever? And or I'll see kids making TikToks at like a softball tournament for my daughter. And I just feel like going, I'm a little TikTok famous if you want me to get in there. just I'm not the loser mom you think I am walking down the softball fields right now. I actually have some street cred. But because it's like, who would ever assume, right? Like that's the thing about TikTok. It kind of levels all of us regardless of age or anything. There's if you bring something to the table, it people are going to appreciate it. When I'm see like your photo that you sent me, and it's kind of like a part of your whole platform, which is find your joy. Is that like, do we have merch? Is that like, where's that coming from? Is that from childhood? Where what is that?
There is merch for sure. I've switched companies, so we're still. I think we should be launching by Friday. But I've had merch since the beginning. Really, I was amazed that people wanted it. But it's the phrase "find your joy" was in one of my early videos. And where it comes from is super random, but I'll try to be very quick about it. So right after 9/11. Like immediately after 9/11, I was in New York still. I was still at NYU. It was my last year. I was asked to do a drama therapy workshop with a school that was located right next to the World Trade Center. And it was going to be NYU students and celebrities. So I got paired with Harvey Fierstein and Cyndi Lauper. Kind of amazing.
I'm going to see her next week on Tuesday.
Well, tell her to find her joy. I've been telling this story for 4 years now, but like, she's got, first of all, those are two of the most iconic. And when I say voices, I'm not just talking about like esoteric. I'm talking about their literal sounds. Like Harvey Fierstein talks like, he's got that vocal cord birth thing that like makes him sound like that.
Okay.
And then Opera has that really nasal New York accent, she's got that really, so, but it's hysterical because they both sound like caricatures. And one of the students in the circle asked us, like, how do you get out of being depressed or something? Because, these kids went through something horribly traumatic, being so close, and, and Cyndi started talking, and she just started kind of going on this random tangent of like, of just getting up and not stopping. And then she just was like, you know what, though? You know what it is? You just got to find your joy. Find your joy. Whatever you, but it was the way she kept saying, find your joy. Find your joy. So whenever I would be from then on, like, mostly to myself, like when I would be like sitting on my couch and being like, I don't want to do anything. I'm like, you know what? I got to get up. Find my joy. Find my joy. And I would always be like, fine, So in this video, when my neighbor insulted my Halloween decorations during COVID, I was like, I read her the riot act on this video. And then I said, you know what, though? We are in the dumpster fire of the world right now. We have no idea. If I want to decorate over Labor Day weekend for Halloween, I'm not bothering anybody. So as long as you're not hurting anybody, y'all, just find your joy, do whatever the hell brings you joy, and call it a day. And that's what launched me. I mean, I had like 25,000 followers which I thought was great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the first couple months, but we were all unemployed. I was just going live talking, some people I think found that fun, but then that video kind of took off. And so, yeah, I mean, that for me, that's kind of, I'm not a Pollyanna person. I'm not like, oh, there's joy all around us. There is. You have to just look for it. But I just joke that joy is not Amazon Prime. It's not just going to show up on your door. Like, you have to be an active part in your life. You have the power to change things. You have all of the power. But most people want it to be easy, or they want it to be given to them. They don't want to do all that, whatever. So it's really more of a call to action than it is like a nice little catchphrase to put on a shirt. It's like literally, if going on a cruise brings you the joy, go do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm envisioning a Find Your Joy meets Halloween sweatshirt where it's like it's not just finding your joy, it's like clawing to it. Like right now you might have to claw to your joy. Like PS,
Yeah.
like it might not serve up instantaneously. You might have to claw yourself to your joy.
Or you may
It,
find it in a box and it's covered in like grease, and you may have to like invest in a cleaning product and clean that to reveal the pristine joy that it once was. Like, yeah.
well, I know like and that's why I bought Cyndi Lauper tickets. I quit drinking 2 years ago. And 2 years ago this past July here, July like
Julie?
7th. And so my new dopamine hit, not new, but my investment in my dopamine hit is live music. And so it's like Mumford and Sons is on the list. You know, Blue October, Cyndi Lauper, Bush is. I mean, that's just my from now till I think it's November lineup. Because that dopamine hit of booze is so simple. It's 5 o'clock. I'm cutting vegetables for dinner. I can have a glass of wine, and that's kind of like gone now. And so I had to really like find my joy truly. I had to figure out, okay, what gives me a dopamine hit. Working out does. I've got my sports bra on already. And because sometimes you're done drinking, especially post COVID, or you're done doing those types of things and it's time to reinvent. Like, what is my joy? What even does make me happy? I don't know anymore. And I had to really reinvent what my joy is, find it, because it kind of I lost it for so many months when I stopped drinking. I couldn't find it. So you're so right. Is sometimes you have to dust it off or degrease it, or claw your way back to how do I find dopamine, especially when I've been drinking it and my brain is not producing it right this second. I know that sounds crazy, but it takes a minute to regroup and find it. Um,
Yeah.
were you were you a theater kid in school? Did you have a voice? Like I know myself growing up in the 80s, being a Gen Xer, it was, like you're quiet, you're grounded, you're out, locked out of the house literally. Growing up in the Midwest, it was very like it was blue collar, it was steel worker mentality. And I always said nothing ever good came from speaking up. Were you a stifled kid or were you boisterous? Were you Greg when you were a kid, or did you find your voice eventually?
Oh no, I was Greg from the get go. But I feel like that has everything to do with like trauma. My parents divorced when I was 5, and I don't have any positive memories of the two of them ever in the same room. And I became very protective and drawn to my mom. So I was very I was not close to my dad at all. I think my dad respected me because I think, like I said, I got his brain and he was a doctor and all that. Like, my brother was the professional athlete, but that's not his strength. And I mean, he's not an idiot, but like, he's not. So I think we both got the best parts of my dad. So I think it's like most performers, like it was just a way to get, I mean, I'm one of 4. So how do I get attention? How do I stand out? Like my oldest sister was super smart, and very leadery. My brother was a phenomenal athlete. And my younger sister was kind of like she was the only one I would say that was the hardest to pin down. She kind of did a lot and it was like, well, but yeah, it was a way to stand out. It was a way to, I always definitely deflected through humor. Like there were things that I didn't want to deal with, and there were things pain I didn't want to talk. Obviously, a lot of that being gay, growing up in the middle, in the Midwest in the 80s and 90s, and that not being something that you did and said. So, I mean, there was a degree of stifling in the sense of that, but there was, but no, I mean, I wasn't a theater kid until high school. I didn't know theater was a thing you could do. Um, and I didn't even really know a lot of theater until I was getting closer to that. So yeah, I mean, it was, but I think the essence of me, because if you talk to any of my like older relatives, my aunts and uncles, you know, they, from a very young age, my favorite aunt loves going on cruises, and she would always come back. And when I was like about 13, she would be like, Greggy, she calls me Greggy, you would be such a great cruise director. And now, having been on so many cruises, I'm like, ew, but I get it.
But I get it.
I would rather
Well,
die. I get it. And
now
this is
my brother growing up in the Cleveland area, so he and I were both same mom, same dad, parents got divorced, and he's the comedian of the family. And I have another brother, like they do comedy all over, like Hilarities and all that in Cleveland. Um and I used to, it's interesting. I mean, we have a lot of similarities, you and I. Parents divorced when I was 6, and I'm the person that could like kind of weave myself in there to make it funny, make it stop, hello my sweetheart, hello my, like, make it stop, right? um and I do notice that the people with kind of the most pain become the comedians, or they use it as a coping mechanism. Has your vibe always been comedy, or have you also done like very serious drama? Or do you just prefer comedy? Does that come more natural?
Um, I mean, I hate to be like, I'm an actor, I can do all of it. I love all of it. I love all of it. I love the human experience. I'm good at comedy, especially anything that's language based.
Yeah.
Because I love text. That's why I do a lot of alliteration. I love visual descriptive things, so, you know, a raccoon on meth, sleeping on the ground, like I don't want to sleep on the ground like I have student loans. Like it's not just sleeping on the ground, it's sleeping on it's that, I'm sleep it's why you're sleep it's do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a visual
It's the
person, so it's
whole enchilada in
yeah.
one It's in 5 words. I see it. Yes, the
Right.
visual is made.
I want you to be on the ground, but I also want you to see that person's face. Like,
Yeah.
there's despair there. There's whatever. So I think that it's not that I lean toward it. It's that people pull me toward it because they're like, oh, he can do that. I think there are far less people that can do that well
Yeah.
than are dramatic actors. Yeah, but I love, like, I mean, I could see Angels in America any day of the week. I could see I love really good Shakespeare tragedies. I love King Lear. I love Titus Andronicus. Like, give me a parent eating their child's Medea style. I'm there. So I just don't get asked to do it a lot, but you know, there's some good stuff. I'm not afraid to cry at all. I think I cry too easily, so that's probably why I don't get cast. They're like, you're supposed to make them cry, not you cry. And I'm like, but I'm making myself cry.
Well, okay, so why when when I need a Netflix special, and I'm not blowing smoke. I'm serious. Like, what's the comedy end game here? Because um you're too good not to be taking this, in my opinion, farther. Honestly.
Thank you. So here's my issue with stand-up comedy is that I feel like the minute I script something and write out a set is when I will be terrible because I'm so good off the cuff, off the fly, riffing off of someone. The idea, it is so quick. I think it's really my ADHD. It's so intense. It's so quick. And if I don't grab it, it's like a comet. My brain is just full of gay comet juice, that just like I have to grab it now, or if I think of an idea, like sometimes I'll go back to those notes, and if it's not in my world right there, I'm just staring at it going, I don't what or either what the hell was I talking about, or how do I that
That
being said,
yeah,
there
that's how I am with my drafts. I go back in my drafts on TikTok. I'm like, ew,
yeah.
delete. Ew, why did I if I don't make it right then it's ew.
I delete the draft right away. I'm terrible, but I'm like, nope. I don't if I'm not excited to finish, then there's no coming back to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
um but I do have some things we're working on that are live show oriented that I think are gonna that play in the sandbox of stand up comedy, but they're more of a theatrical performance. I was like, I haven't stepped into the stand up lane. I've been a writer, so like I can do that. And if that's something, writing for other people or whatever, great. But I do feel like I need to kind of lead with what I know and what I'm good at, and that's how to put on a show. And so I have people that were sort of in the early, that's why I was like, I can't really promote this yet, but we're looking at different venues, we're looking at different ways to sort of give people a live theatrical experience, or some kind of experience. Like we're looking at doing cruise events and doing this on cruise ships, and it's like I'm curating the cruise for y'all, like in the sense of there's lots of activities that I'll be with and whatnot. So we're looking at that. Because I agree, it would be stupid to sort of not just see where this goes. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I worked with a guy that was one of the heads. We used to be a head of a major movie studio, and the other guy was a major agent at one point at CAA. So I've been around people. It's just like, if it's not the right time and there's not the right project, or you're not writing it and there's not like the right doesn't matter who there's a lot. It's a crazy ass business. So that's why I can't do it full time, content creation, and why not can't, I could, I just don't want to. Having my teaching job keeps me grounded in reality. If I did this full time, it would be no different than me being in LA or New York trying to book acting jobs. It's like there are months when I have 28 million views across my platforms, and then there's months like this where I have 6.4 million views.
Which is still, by the way, better than most network television
I mean,
shows.
sure, but yes, but like you don't know what I don't know what's gonna land, what's not gonna land. It's just so I don't like that uncertainty. In fact, I have a video coming out this week that's talking about giving up on your dreams, and let's changing that narrative, because it's like because was it really a dream or was it a delusion? And you know what, like rather than sleeping, I'm 45, I don't want 4 roommates in Hell's Kitchen eating ramen living off of ramen. Like I have dental, I have 401k. Those are simple things that, like, when you were 22 and like, I can do anything, I'm gonna follow my dreams, you aren't thinking about, what, I need my teeth, I passed this age, maybe something with dental. Like it's your dreams start out big, and then really it's like a kaleidoscope. You sort of like keep turning that thing, and really everything comes into focus, and you're like, I love ironing. I want to be a house husband. I would like to bake and iron and come home, and I want yes. Do I also want to be on a big TV show? Sure. Am I willing to work as hard for that as I am for this? No.
Well, it's so funny, as you just we're talking about dental. My 2 oldest kids are almost 29 and 27. And you know how they have that where you could be on your parents' healthcare till they're 26. And so
Yes,
when
which
they
was
grad
I
when
was when we I was
well
booted at
when they
22.
well right well yeah, when we were bye. When they were younger, I was like, look, you have a window. it's until you're 26, and you can be as wacky and crazy and try and entrepreneurial because you have dental till you're 26 and just live right. And so you have a window of 5 years to play with this shit until you have to grow up. And like, it's interesting listening to you talk, because I wonder what everyone would do if they had healthcare. Like, how much more entrepreneurial or trying, if you could be an artist or an actor or a comedian or a horseback rider, knowing that at the end of the day you had healthcare and dental, and how freeing that concept is of having, take politics out of it, having universal health care and being able to try stuff out. That's what happened to me. I was working at GNC over at Crocker Park in Ohio when I got a divorce, and I had to go get a job at a law firm so I could have health insurance after my divorce. Like, I think a lot of people do have to get normal jobs because they need health care. How interesting is it? So, I mean, like, I don't know, like your writing is just, and I mean, you're the professional in the room, but sometimes I think it's the trees, the tree for the forest. You might not even see yourself, but you're just so smart and so witty, like maybe a comedy book, or I don't know, like I just see, and I love that what you're doing, and thank God you're putting it on social media. But I want it. I want to go see it. I want it in an hour and a half of you nonstop, or in a book where I can just read about raccoons and forks in garbage disposals. Like, there's just, I don't know what it's supposed to look like, but maybe circa Fran Drescher kind of energy, where you come in and you give a great quip, or Karen on Will and Grace, like the male version. Like, that's how I see you, is these great one-liners, just people say for all of eternity. And you just, Karen is just like, oh well, yeah, like that's just, you're the Greg version of that. And I just, that's the thing my husband said to me the other day, because I'm like, I want to be on TV. I want my own talk show. I want to be on The View. I want, like, and he's like, why? Like, you have all of these people watching you. You have the freedom. And maybe more than I, because you've done it all, but there is something about being on television, on Netflix, on the screen, where everyone does find out about you. That's even though you have 4 million followers here, on TikTok and social media, there is a different vibe to being on television. And maybe that's stupid. Maybe being in a movie's dumb. Maybe these are weird thoughts, and you're like, no, trust me, you want to just be on social media. There's much more freedom in that. But there, being a household name, it's interesting.
I mean, the first thing is that 4 million people, it even if you're on in a movie or whatever, like, I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's a number. I know that's what the actual number is, but like, I don't see those people. I don't meet those. So like, I think the real issue though is it's just where we place value. I think people put a lot of value into being legit, so you've made it now. If you are official, if you hit it on whatever. And I'm like, I stopped buying that shit a long time ago. Like, I did Mamma Mia for 6 years, but I did the Las Vegas company. And so like, there were people that will be splitting hairs and being like, oh, you weren't in the Broadway company. I was like, I could have been in the Broadway company many times. I was like, but it's the same damn show, the same creative cast, and they're the ones who decide who goes where. They're not saying, oh, I was incredibly valuable in my Las Vegas company, so they were never going to pluck me and put me in the Broadway company because I covered 12 tracks, so once you stop playing that game of like, oh, it doesn't, I'm not a working actor, or I haven't made it. It's like, I have a friend that has done 12 Broadway shows. 9 of them closed within a month. And I was like, so technically, I have been working longer than you have, because I worked for 6 years straight.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, which is, so it's all on your perspective. It's all on you look at it. But like, you made a really cool point about, and I kind of am going to crush it only because it's such a valid point of like how many people would follow their dreams if they had health insurance, and I'm like, I also think we need people to stop following their dreams. There needs to be this sort of like, because I'm like, we need mechanics, we need trades, we need these to be functioning in society. Because 57 to or 67% of children say they want to be influencers, and I'm literally here to be like, abso-fucking-lutely not.
Don't do it.
No, don't. And this is coming from someone who can't even use the word without throwing up in my mouth, but it's more so because I'm like, you don't want to be this because you have something authentic to say. You want to do this because this is your version of being a TV or soap star, is that it looks easy, it looks fun, it looks like you make a lot of money. All which are true on one A and false on the other. But it's like, I feel like, do you need to open that bakery, Sandra? You could, if you want to. You know what? No one's stopping you. And again, this is where the find your joy gets complex. It's like, if that is your joy, like whatever, go out and do it. However, you've got to be mature about it. You're not 22. So what's the risk? What's the reward? What are the pros? What are the cons? Look at it all. Don't just throw, shit to the wind and say like, well, I followed my dream. Yeah, but you bankrupt your whole family in the process, girl. Like,
Well, right. Go ahead, but not on my dime.
well, right. It's like, there, and I worry because like, the generation even after us and the one after them, it's like, it's not just participation trophies though. It's constantly validating these grandiose ideologies, but not rooting it in reality, So I don't tell my students that you can be whatever you want to be. I'm like, what do you want to be? Okay, well, here's what that's going to take. Here's what that path looks like. Are you still interested? Great.
Yeah.
Next chapter. Versus, I'm not there to inspire. I'm there to, and I think any teacher that says they do it because they want to, I'm like, you have made the whole story about you. You have put yourself in the narrative at the center of this kid's story. Like, I just want to inspire and enlighten. Girl, you don't know that. They're in first grade. They're not going to recognize the you had on them until much later. I'm not saying they never will. They will, but you're going to be long dead or 80, and they will be like, oh, you know what? Mrs. Meredith back in first grade,
She did.
So calm down,
Yeah.
So I do think I do think there is a fine line between a dream and a delusion. And it's really that adult growth journey that sort of makes, and the reason I say that is because I'm trying to make people feel better about abandoning your dream. It's not so much that you abandoned delusion, but you downshifted into joy. You made a conscious choice to say, I have boundaries, and they include not eating ramen noodles for dinner every night.
Right.
So, or finally getting furniture that I don't have to put together with wood dowels and glue and a prayer. Like,
right.
Those are realistic things, and those contribute to your joy and your everyday being way more than you realize. Like, yes, did I see 8 Broadway shows last week when I was in New York? Did it make me miss it? Absolutely. Would I give up any of what I have here to go out? Hell no. No.
Well,
Absolutely
perspective
not.
is life. And it sounds like you've got wonderful perspective in that way. As you're sitting here talking, I'm like, Rosie O'Donnell was on The View and now she's on TikTok. So like, maybe we just need to be like, okay, like, I guess I'm not doing too bad, right? Like, she had the choice. She could be on network television and she's left the building. It is what it is,
Look,
right?
you know what it is though? It's all a dog and pony show. Do you follow or listen to the I've Had It podcast?
Mm-mm.
It's these two middle-aged women who, well, now they don't really talk about, they've completely switched. I mean, I enjoy them, but like, it used to be I've Had It, and it used to be just kind of like what I do, but like roasting hard. So it's like, I've had it with basic white girls. I've had it with people who do this. And so it's like, you call in about your gripe, and it's just kind of going off. And it's these two women who did it, and they were very funny. They got a following. Now they've gone very political. and they just sort of report the politics because that gets more views for them. But they went viral with a lot of stuff. You know what it is? It's all in how they have money. They have a great studio, so it looks professional. It sounds professional. The content that they're doing, anybody could do.
Yeah.
So you could do The View on social media, on TikTok, if you figured out what that looked like and made it look like a studio. I mean, that's literally the game. It's sad because it's like it has nothing to do with the actual content. It's why all of those AI bot channels exist. You know what I mean? Where people are using visuals, but they're just having the voiceover read it because it's like, oh, it doesn't matter that this isn't mine or this isn't original or this isn't whatever. An audience is going to find it and watch it, and it's going to generate me money. So I say make that happen. But just play the game, like make it look good, you don't even have to, you don't buy the studio. You could transform a room, but make it look like, this is the show, because the thing is when people find you, they're going to assume you're already huge. You know what I mean?
Isn't that the funniest? It's so true. It's so true.
Like, oh, I love this person. They must be super famous. And then you're like, oh, this person has 4 followers. What? Well,
oh my God. My husband says that all the time. My husband's always like, oh my gosh, I found this guy and I really like him. He's so awesome. And then I look and he's got like 4,000 followers. And he's like, my wife has more followers than that, but I thought he was huge. Like some people just have that energy of like, they are doing it. And then there's other people you can look and you're like, how do they have? There is definitely, star quality. When you go through TikTok, you can see star quality and you're like, wow, how do they only, but then it's like, they've only been in business for 4 days and they have 4,000 followers. And you're like, oh, got it. They're going to blow up. Like they have that quality. They're good at this.
Yeah.
So true. Well, I'm so glad we had a scheduling snafu the other day, but I'm so glad that I got you on here today. I so appreciate you being patient with me and finding a time to come back. I'm loving, like, I got on, we went on live here and I'm like, where the hell are you with coffered ceilings and this beautiful backdrop? He's like, this is my house. I'm like, I thought you were at like the Ritz or something. It looks like you're in some beautiful, insane hotel and here it's your home. It's stunning. The lighting is insane.
It is really good lighting. That's why I'm in here. I mean, this looks a lot prettier than it is. I mean, it is very pretty, but it's it is my favorite part of the house is the coffered ceiling. But
it's absolutely gorgeous.
I could never have this if I was an actor right now, though. You know what I mean? Like, unless I was big, which who knows? So this is what teaching and ranting and bitching gets you.
I love it. Well, I'm here if and when you get your Karen vibe-esque thing on a sitcom, I am here for it because you would be the best Greg, Karen, Will and Grace character, just coming in and giving the most amazing zingers known to mankind, because that to me is so good. That is just, I love it so much. But thank you for being here and sharing so much of you and Cleveland and Menor and the Cleveland Browns and acting and your students and all the Gregisms. I so appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Anytime.
All right, guys. Well, I will see you here next week on TikTok Famous, the stories behind the scroll. Greg and I will see you over on TikTok and everywhere else you follow. So follow him, Gregisms, on Instagram and TikTok. See you guys later.
Thanks for tuning in to the TikTok Famous podcast with Meredith Willits. If you're loving the unfiltered stories and behind-the-scenes truths, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show. Until next time, let's get famous.